Welcome back, everybody. We are joined again by President and CEO Mike Penner, who on the last video dove deep into his background and explained how he got involved with Canada One Technologies. But today we want to get a little bit deeper into the company. So first off, Mike, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Everything's going very well, and we're very happy to be here again.
Good. And we have some exciting news, but we'll get to that later. Starting off, let's talk about the company a little more. So first off, let's talk about the name and how there's a little bit of shift of direction.
Yes, no, absolutely. So as everybody knows, the company is Canada One Technologies, and it was initially set up as an online marketplace for the cannabis industry. And really, what we're doing today is a result of all of that work. It's actually a continuation and maybe a bit more of a focus. So as part of that, as you know, when you build a marketplace, when you start looking at the products and things like that, you get very much into payments, and payment technology and payment partnerships was a very big part of the strategy that the company did. Obviously, as the market moved on, the company took a look at what it is that they can do well and where it is that the real opportunities are, and build on the relationships that they had. And that's really kind of where this kind of fine tuning and tightening of the opportunity was. Listen, payments is still a big problem. It's still a big challenge, and it isn't as digitized as people think. And certainly in the market today, in the world that we're living in this pandemic, and that, we're put front and center, things that we never thought would be an issue. How do I get a check to somebody? How do I deal with, get stuff to my house? Those are real big issues. And in the markets that we're talking about, in the fast growing markets of Southeast Asia and extending out, it's even more severe. They're literally looking at what their economy is. So that's kind of how the evolution of this business, of the technology. A lot of the same elements and partnerships are there, but it's really kind of focused on that.
Okay. Can you dive into some of the background of the technology you're using?
So what we're doing and what our strategy is a little bit different than what you see in the fintech world. We see this big need in this big marketplace. There's a massive change in infrastructure, and this is very similar to what we saw in the internet days, in the late 90s, early 2000s, where people are starting to realize that how we do business is going to change, and technology is going to drive that. And there's a lot of elements to that. Smartphones driving the cost down, applications. We're now getting to a point where a dollar from somebody anywhere in the world is a dollar of revenue, and how do we address that? And that's something that really hasn't existed yet. So what we're seeing this in the financial services space. The financial services space is saying, okay, how do we address this? What's this infrastructure? And we've seen really cool fintechs, and we've really cool technology companies, but we haven't really seen the business that allows you to connect to what exists in the world. And that's really what we're focusing on. So with a lot of the stuff that we've just recently announced, what we're doing is we're kind of putting foundation down and saying, let's find companies and businesses that have the revenue and have the product. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create this single technology layer. And this layer kind of sits on top of everything. It allows anybody to make any kind of payment. I think, from our strategy point of view, we're very excited. We've got a lot of things, a lot of steps that are coming along. And it's not just one thing where it's ta-da, it's going to unfold. And really, it's about the 1 trillion payment market in Southeast Asia and how that's going to get addressed.
Okay, wonderful. So going in the vein of what we were talking about here, you guys just recently made a good deal involving this, right?
No, that's correct. And it's one that's very strategic and foundational to what we're doing. So it's a company out of the Philippines called Direct Agent 5. They've been around for over 15 years, and they are a leader in the remittance space. And they did over $500 million last year of remittance volume. So they're on the ground. They know the business. They have an app. They have a wallet. They have 2,300 locations. So this allows us to actually sit there and say, hey, how does this work? How do people collect money? How do they pay? And how can we plug things in to grow? The founder is very excited about being part of what we're doing, because it allows him to expand his market and take advantage of the things that we're doing very well right now. So yeah, we're very excited.
Wonderful. Could you talk about any of the people else you'd be targeting with this?
So what we do with what this does is it allows us not only to the remittance business, but it gives us other channels. If you remember last time we spoke about Australia and a remittance license there. So this kind of gets into our strategy now. So now we have a corridor that has bi-directional, and we're able to get greater revenue, not just greater revenue, but greater margin, because we own both parts of the channel. Now we can also bring in things like cryptocurrency, right? Cryptocurrency as a payment, and bring the expertise that we have on that. So now we have multiple revenue streams, and we have multiple markets and multiple channels that we can do. And that's really what coming down to what is going to be the final thing that we build here is really this infrastructure that allows money to move in and out of these markets to anybody, no matter what they have. And we're giving them everything from, whether it be a card, whether it be a payout at a location, whether it be a conversion with a cryptocurrency, all this stuff is going to be part of the system.
Wonderful. Yeah, about to say cryptocurrency is an interesting one because it's still emerging, but it does allow people to transact money of almost any kind, right? Like, so you can send Ethereum from US to Southeast Asia, you can send it anywhere. So your system would integrate that and then allow transfer from, let's say, someone trying to buy something in Bitcoin from Australia to any other currency?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really extraordinary about cryptocurrency, I think what everybody's excited about it, to get down to the nuts and bolts a little bit, is that in today's system, and it's not even across border, it's across systems within financial institutions, systems within, when you move something from one column to another column, it loses its identity. It loses its ability to actually do stuff. So you actually are moving from one physical system to another, to another, to another. And that's that horrific inefficiency that we all live in and discovered, this past year. So cryptocurrency allows us to actually keep the identity, but it extends far beyond that. And then, we're starting to see that with, non-fungible tokens. And again, these are early things, but really where it goes is I can put value on an asset. I can convert that into value. I can translate it. And that's what we are. We're going to be that guy in the middle that says, hey, give us whatever it is here. We'll take it in and we're going to put it out. And whatever it is, don't worry about it. We handle that part. And so for customers, whether it be global fintechs that want to come into the market and say we need to plug into something very quickly, whether it be large online marketplaces, which is where our online marketplace experience comes from, or any of these other businesses, they can just plug in and not worry about this problem.
Wonderful. All right, Mike. Well, I think you did a pretty good job of shining light on there. Is there anything else you want to mention about the company before we sign off?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that, we have a vision, and we are really excited where we're going to go and what's the world going to look like in 5 years. In our market and where we're going in 5 years' time, is you aren't even going to see how money moves. It's just going to happen, and it's going to happen through a layer that's connected. And we're putting those blocks together. There's some hard work that has to be put in. We have to get licenses. We have to get infrastructure. But when this is done, it's almost kind of be like an Amazon, where we don't know about how the planes go. We don't know about the logistics. We don't know whatever it is, but we connect this to that. And that's where the finance world is. And that's where the payments are. And these markets are exciting. I mean, they're going from 70% unbanked. What's that going to look like in 5 years' time? I mean, it's going to be extraordinary.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of growth coming up, and it's interesting to see you guys playing a very integral part of it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions, shoot them over to us. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day.